The next passage they use is Haggai chapter 2. The missionary will claim that because Jesus, who they believe was God incarnate, visited the second temple, therefore he fulfilled that which was written in Haggai, that the glory of this house will be greater than the glory of the former house, the first temple. Now, let's read the passage. This is what the Lord Almighty says. In a little while I will once more shake the heavens and the earth, the sea and the dry land. I will shake all nations, and the desired of all nations will come, and I will fill this house with glory, says the Lord Almighty. The silver is mine, and the gold is mine, declares the Lord Almighty. The glory of this present house will be greater than the glory of the former house, says the Lord Almighty. And in this place I will grant peace, declares the Lord Almighty. The missionary understanding of this is that Jesus, who is God incarnate, will visit the temple, thereby bring greater glory to the second temple than the first temple, and will bring peace, referring to peace between God and man, not man and man. Now, let's analyze those claims for a moment. Firstly, I'd like to look at the context of Haggai. So, in Haggai chapter 1, verse 14, it talks about how the Jewish people had come back from their exile in Babylon, and they came and began work on the house of the Lord Almighty their God, on the 24th day of the 6th month, in the 2nd year of King Darius. Then, in chapter 2, just under a month later, God comes to encourage them in their work on the house of the Lord. You see, Haggai chapter 2 verse 6 is actually a response to Haggai chapter 1 14 through Haggai chapter 2 verse 4. You see, the Jewish people, when they saw the ruins of the first temple, were very much depressed, and they felt despondent how the former glory of this beautiful temple of the Lord was sitting in ruins. You see, take a closer look at Haggai chapter 2 verse 3. It says, "Who of you is left who saw this house in its former glory? How does it look to you now? Does it not seem to you like nothing?" God is identifying with their pain, how they feel that everything is lying in ruins. But God promises them that the glory of this house, the majesty of this house, will be greater than the beauty of the first temple. Now, verse 6 actually speaks about the kavod habayis, meaning the glory of the house. It does not mention the glory of God, it mentions the glory of the house. Now, when we contrast this to the reference in 1 Kings, which talks about how the glory of God actually was indwelt in the temple, which was something that all Jewish people witnessed, we see over here there's no mention to the glory of God that will be greater. It's talking about the glory of the house. Now, for some odd reason, it also specifically mentions in verse 8 of Haggai chapter 2 that this gold and silver which belongs to God, in the same context of the passage, it talks about the nations who will come and help for the rebuilding. Clearly, it's referring to the material, physical restoration of the second temple, which will bring about a greater beauty and glory to the house of the Lord.